Well, at a time when the government has decided to sell several state assets, including Sri Lanka Telecom, leader of the Mawbima Janatha Party, Dilith Jayaweera, questioned how the current government could elevate the country's prosperity level by fueling public expectations without being unable to convert a 6,000 employee venture into a profit-making enterprise.
Well, addressing a discussion in Colombo, the MJP leader was of the view that getting rid of certain assets is not the solution for Sri Lanka, but instead can be used to generate income for the nation.
Now, speaking further, he noted that the government should discuss ways and means to settle debt rather than constantly highlighting the country's debt issue.
A discussion themed Empowering Sri Lanka's Future, Navigating Through Entrepreneurial Collaboration, organised by Professionals for an Entrepreneurial State, was held last evening in Colombo.
Root causes of the current economic crisis even stem from the fact that we as a country failed to build a strong entrepreneurship community. We need to create a sort of a entrepreneurship portal with the use of ICT where these different stakeholders are put together and provide a platform for the potential in entrepreneurs. Lack of competition policy remain as a sizable limitation in the economy, so it is important to introduce a competitive law and policy in order to make sure that there is a level playing field for the market participants. In the context of Sri Lanka, we have regulated a lot. I think we need to sit and look at whether we need some of those regulations which introduced in 1930s, 40s, even before that.
Today, we are crying out loud saying the country is bankrupt. I always say, no, we are never bankrupt. We were never bankrupt and we will never be bankrupt. This is one country you can never bankrupt because people are not idiots and we have the ability, we have the resilience to fall back, to fight back, to stand back again. We need to put systems right. To put systems right, we have to show in our strength to the political system that if we are not being put in the correct position, there won't be a you.
Now today we talk about our debt management issue. And it has become the only topic of the nation, just to service the debt. If we are to put so much pressure on the human resources of this country, and if we demotivate the most valuable asset of this nation, how would we expect there to be money, there to be value, which we can create to even think of servicing these debts? Technically, our discussion should have been today, how we could motivate this nation and get these natural resources, as we call, exploit to the maximum and make more and more value so that debt is actually not a problem. As you know, today we are discussing about getting rid of some of our assets. An entrepreneurial nation would not have looked at getting rid of assets in a situation like this. They would have instead tried how to make use of these assets and how fast we can convert them to make the necessary funding. Now, Sri Lanka Telecom has only 6,000 people. If we can't convert this to a money-making, profit-making venture, and they can't motivate 6,000 people, they can't run this with 6,000 people. If anyone is expecting to run a country, then they want to come back and say that we will do a better job. That's a big question. How can they even expect if they can't manage 6,000 people? They would make this country a developed country, make this country a prosperous country. One more little example, we sold 200 fuel sheds. I don't know. Unfortunately, we don't hear an opposing view to that. We just sold our money-making pumping stations and the investors only came and pasted just a sticker on that fuel dispenser and did a little bit of branding. How did that add value or brought any investment to this country? If the government realized or they are of the view that they couldn't run 200 pumping stations, how can they run a country? So that's a simple question. We need to look at this concept of entrepreneurial state and change the thinking, the mindset of the state. Thereby we change the thinking of the people of this country.